I know it was a while ago, but why was Yamamoto so good tonight?
Man, I think today the split was fantastic. The command was back to being who he is. I think the last one he just wasn't as sharp, but today he got back the command, and the split really played tonight.
When he has the curveball that he had the first couple of times through the order, how difficult is it for them to even touch him?
It's difficult, and I think that's something that he's really bought into, and we talked about this before the game, in the sense of the front to back, utilizing his breaking ball, not just being a two-pitch pitcher, and it just gets guys off his velocity, and that front to back game is also pretty valuable.
You guys were saying that was the best they'd seen Grant Holmes. How big is it to get a win like tonight against a guy that was pitching as well as he was tonight?
It was huge, and you saw early on the 3 strikeouts in that first inning that he had his breaking ball working, and it's a curveball, it's a slider. He protects his does a good job protecting his fastball, and there's a cutter in there. So he gave our guys fits and pitched really well, and we scratched one across. Team fundamentally, and Mookie with the homer was huge, and then we handed it over to the bullpen, and those guys closed it out.
With the command kind of where it was for Yamamoto, were you allowing yourself to think no-hitter at all, just considering how
I was for a quick minute, and Riley changed that, right? So I think he felt my brain thinking about the no-hitter, so I was thinking about it a little bit, because he had no-hit stuff tonight.
If he doesn't give up that double, how much farther does he go?
It's sort of, I think in hindsight, he would have went into the 7th, but I don't know how much further past that.
Are you keeping the pitch count down because he's going to go short before the next start?
It's a good thought. That's a good thought. There's a very good possibility he's going to go a day shorter than he normally does, yeah.
Expect that kind of level of performance from him every time he takes the mound right now?
Yes, I am. I think we all are. He's turning himself into a staff ace, and when you look at the handful of guys in the big leagues that when they take the ball, then they're going to go 6 innings. You're going to get a chance to win, a good chance to win. They can manage some stress. They're always the best option, and he's putting himself in that category.
Feel out there, was the curveball the key to your success tonight?
今日やっぱりカーブがやっぱ今日の、うまくいった要因の一つだと思いますか？
そうですね、カーブもすごく調子よく、いいところに投げれたので、いいピッチングができたと思います。
Yes, I agree, because I was able to locate my curveball in a good spot, so probably that was one of the good reasons.
Was Ozuna the toughest challenge tonight?
やっぱオズナ選手はやっぱ今日一番手強かったですか？
やっぱりパワーのあるバッターなので特に、気をつけて、投げたんですけど、少しずつやっぱ、いいボールも何球かありましたけど、うまく見逃されて、フォアボールを2つ出してしまったんで、そこはちょっと悔しかったですね。
He got a power, so I was being extra careful, and then that's part of the reason I allowed 2 walks to him.
When you've been dominating for this season, does it sort of feel like you did when you were sort of at your peak when you were in Japan? Dominating now,
right now,
does it feel like
how things now?
Yeah.
やっぱり今の状態っていうのはやっぱその日本にいた時の一番いい状態に近いですか？
そうですね、すごく、いい感覚で、投げれてるかなと、思いますし、そうですね、より近いかなとは思いますかね。はい。
Yes, I've been able to perform very at the high level, and then I think it's really close to at the best time in in Japan.
When you get through the 5th inning without allowing a hit, are you thinking about a no-hitter at all?
5回終わった時点で、ヒットを許してなかったんで、ちょっとノーヒットノーランをちょっと意識してましたが。
なかなか9イニングまで行くっていうのがなかなか難しいことなので、あまり考えてなかったですね。
I was not really thinking about it because pitching through the whole game, complete games, really hard in the big league.
All right, Jerry, he wasn't thinking about no-hitter, even though he threw 2 no-hitters in Japan, and he had no-hit stuff tonight.
He sure did. Outstanding job. First, you're going to see the split to freeze Riley. Perfect pitch at the knees in her half. How about the curveball? A slow curveball there, 79 miles an hour. Little bat flip-esque right there, but outstanding movement on the cutter as well. Late breaking cutter. How about the split down and away to get Verdugo, who's a really good contact hitter. Now the fastball up in the zone above the belt to get Olsen. When you have everything working, nothing in the middle of the plate, you're going to get swing and miss, and you're going to get guys to lock up. Once again, the splitter, weak contact. Yamamoto showing off his athleticism, little PFP. Now here is not a mistake. This is a good pitch. It's a cutter down and away. That's just good hitting. Credit Riley right there, going with the pitch, able to get on the board with a double. The only hit allowed from Yamamoto. One of my favorite plays, the Zach Greinke slow 78-mile-an-hour curveball to induce weak contact, and that's what pitchers do. They take them off or put some on that fastball, pitching and an elite level right now, again, against a really good Braves lineup.
Yeah, and really impressive for that curveball that we saw to Osuna, and it was a 3-2 count, and still trusting your curveball and taking something off to get that ground ball.
All right, Dodgers get the win.
It's going to bring you in for the 9th inning. How did you prepare yourself during that hour-plus rain delay?
You know, I can't remember who asked me about it, but it's just mostly just how I treat the rest of the game. You know, just try not to get too high, don't get too low, don't, come in here and assume the game's over. Don't over-prepare or do extra because I think it's going to be me or anything like that. Kind of just wait for the word, and then, when that time comes, prep how I always do.
What was the chess match between you and Olsen? Did you feel like even if you walk him, you still got Murphy on deck?
Yeah, mostly. Getting behind that guy, I'm definitely not trying to just get back into the count with anything passive like that. I still want to make very intentful pitches, and I think I did that. I made it close, but like you said, with the righty behind him, I gotta feel like we can get out. More often than not, we trust that process.
Did you have any doubts that you would be here in this position after being hurt in the World Series and going through the whole process?
I never really had that kind of long-term mindset with it. I fully expected to get back to this position, and I'm very grateful that the process went smooth. Just happy to be back and be a part of this team, and have great wins like this one.
How dialed are you right now for where you want to be, especially coming in, jumping right back into leverage spots?
I feel like I'm in a good spot. I think part of that's due to the relatively extensive rehab, doing more, doing the back-to-backs, 2 out of 3s, getting to a higher pitch count in my innings, and being very, focused on what I'm trying to do down there, focusing on executing certain pitches that I'm going to need when I got back here. So definitely more than ready, to be back here. I was more than ready. So I think that's helped, kind of jump right back into the spot I left off.
What's it been like watching Yamamoto sort of have this start to season that he's had?
He dominated today, and I feel like it wasn't even the best version of Yama. Which is crazy. The guy, when you talk about routine and work ethic and, the talent, this guy's, one of the best in the game for sure. It's fun to watch.
What are you doing here when you have an hour to get ready for a save opportunity?
So kind of just hang out, played games on my phone for a little bit, and like I said, just not get too high, get too low. Stayed loose here and there just to make sure I didn't get too stiff, but nothing too crazy.
All right, so Yoshinobu Yamamoto goes the first 6, and then it's Evan Phillips in the 9th, Jerry. And how about the 2 guys bridging that gap until Evan Phillips has started with Kirby Yates?
Yeah, well, Kirby Yates, he has been outstanding all season long. Here they want this fastball away, comes back in her half, and Olsen has got tremendous power, but he did not let that affect him. It will induce a weak fly ball there to center field. Outstanding split there once again. Little fly ball out to center field. Again, when you're in a situation where you're trying to hold the lead, you want to pitch efficiently, quickly, and get those quick outs.
8th inning, no more. It was Tanner Scott's turn.
Yeah, and the same mentality. You hand the ball over to the next guy in the bullpen. Talk about they're all very similar mentality that you have to attack the zone. Yes, it is a close game, and you're thinking, okay, I don't want to make a mistake. I make a mistake, all of a sudden they tie the game. But you're thinking, I still have to pitch with conviction. I still have to trust my stuff. I still have to pound the zone. And that's exactly what Tanner Scott did.
Dodgers get the win, 2-1. Up next, some final thoughts. And Roki Sasaki gets the ball for the middle game of this series in Atlanta. Still looking for that first big league win, Jerry. He gave up 3 runs to the Pirates last time out, but his ERA still right around 3.5 in his rookie season.
He's getting better and better each and every start. I love that he's starting to command the strike zone a whole lot better. The confidence is growing. Hopefully he continues to build on that confidence and pitch deep tomorrow night.
Yeah, listen to Eric Karros after the game talk, and he was exactly right. Hopefully Roki can take a page out of Yamamoto's book and say, I got to attack with the fastball, establish the fastball command so his splitter can be really effective.
All right, Dodgers have so far played 4 road series, true road series this season. No more. They've lost 3 of the 4, but a chance to get a good series win if they can get this one tomorrow.
Yeah, take care of the series early on, and that way you can get greedy, continue playing your game. You were able to pull this one out. Just stay within yourself.
We've been playing that bad on the road? Must win tomorrow. I'm going to put the pressure on him, John. Must win tomorrow, then have a chance to sweep.
Hey, Dodgers fans, have you ever wondered what happens when the front office finally decides to shake things up? What if I told you the team might be losing patience with Max Muncy and that a new face could bring the spark our infield desperately needs? Plus, there's a rising prospect on the way to the big league roster, and Yamamoto almost made history again. If you want the full breakdown of what's really going on, stick around till the end, and don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell, and let's talk some Dodger Blue. Nick Senzel joins the Dodgers. The first move that made headlines this week might have looked low-key at first, but it could seriously impact the Dodgers lineup. Nick Senzel is now a Dodger. Yep, the same guy who was once a top prospect for the Reds and most recently with the White Sox. After bouncing around, he resurfaced in the Mexican League with the Tecolotes de los Dos Laredos, and honestly, he looked like a man on a mission. Let's be real, Senzel's MLB career hasn't been what people hoped. His career numbers: batting average, .232, home runs, 40, RBIs, 143, stolen bases, 33, ops, .662. But in just 6 games down in Mexico, Senzel showed he's not done yet. He got signed to a minor league deal by the Dodgers, and in his first game with Tulsa, he went 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a double. Let me ask you something. When was the last time Max Muncy drove in 2 runs in a single game? Max Muncy under pressure. Look, we all love Max. He's given this franchise some unforgettable moments. But in 2025, let's be honest, he's just not producing. In nearly 100 at-bats this season, he has only 5 RBIs. That's not a slump, that's a serious concern. Meanwhile, Nick Senzel just drove in almost half that in 1 AAA game. We're not saying Max is done, but you can't justify giving him guaranteed starts when there are hungry, motivated guys ready to fight for that spot. The Dodgers have to start rewarding production. It's that simple. Han Kim on the way? And speaking of fresh energy, Han Kim is reportedly on his way to join the big league club. According to reports from Dodgers Daily, he's been pulled from the Oklahoma City lineup and is heading to Atlanta to join the roster. Who is Han Kim? He's nicknamed the Comet, and trust me, it fits. Kim has been raking in AAA, and now it looks like he'll get a shot to prove himself in the majors. Why now? We don't know yet if someone's hurt or if this is just a strategic move, but one thing's for sure, he earned this shot. Rotation adjustments and Yamamoto dominance. Now let's shift to pitching. Because of injuries to Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow, the Dodgers are scrapping their 6-man rotation for now. We're back to a traditional 5-man schedule. And that brings up a big question. What does that mean for Yoshinobu Yamamoto? Let me tell you, he's the best pitcher in baseball right now. He's got a 1.05 ERA and is completely shutting teams down. In his latest start against the Braves, he carried a no-hitter into the 7th inning. He threw 91 pitches, allowed just 1 hit, and came out of the game still looking sharp. Honestly, it's probably a good thing he gave up that hit, because if he hadn't, the pressure to leave him in for 110-plus pitches would have been insane. And right now, we can't afford to lose Yamamoto. He's the heart of this rotation. He's living up to every cent of that $325 million contract. Sasaki, May, and depth tested. Up next is Roki Sasaki, followed by the return of Dustin May. And here's the thing, with so many injuries, this rotation is going to be tested hard. The bullpen needs to stay strong. We might see more innings from Gavin Stone, maybe even Michael Grove stepping up again. Depth is everything right now. So Dodgers fans, things are moving. Nick Senzel is back and swinging with fire. Max Muncy might be running out of time. Han Kim could debut any day now. And Yamamoto? He's on another level. Now it's your turn. Should Senzel get a real shot at third base? Is it time to bench Muncy? Can Yamamoto handle the 5-day rotation schedule? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to latest Los Angeles Dodgers news, the channel that bleeds Dodger blue just like you do.